What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and today we're going to be discussing Daredevil Reborn episodes 1 and 2. Those episodes are entitled Heaven's Half Hour and Optics. They released the first two episodes together, and then going to be releasing them on a weekly basis every Wednesday. I believe it's going to wind up being 9 episodes. And I'll tell you, they did start this series off with a gut punch because we wind up getting a death that seems to maybe be permanent unless there's some shenanigans that happen near the end of the season. But just as a heads up, if you have yet to see episodes 1 and 2, there will be spoilers ahead. So with that being said, the first 10 minutes of this episode 1, again entitled Heaven's Half Hour, opens up with Matt, Karen, and Foggy hanging out at a cop and lawyer bar called Josie's. They seem to be catching up and having some drinks and some fun. We see Foggy flirting with a fellow lawyer, I believe, or just a young lady flirting with a young lady. And in the process, Foggy had gotten a call, which he took outside, and Matt, hearing the conversation, of course, due to his special hearing and other abilities, comes out to question Foggy about what's going on. Long story short, Foggy had told Matt that he was having meet a witness for a case. Matt decides to go meet him instead, but as Matt is going to go do that, he changes into his Daredevil costume, starts billy club swinging on the rooftops, and hears a gun load. We find out that Bullseye is still alive, and this was a setup all along for Bullseye to shoot Foggy in a very vital spot, which would take him a little while to, die from. But Matt couldn't get to Foggy in time, which led into a Bullseye and Daredevil fight. The whole time you can hear Foggy's heartbeat during this fight through Matt's ears, so to speak, as Karen is trying to be there for him as he's bleeding out. Bullseye eventually leads Daredevil back to the bar where this massive fight happens there, leading to the rooftop. At this point, we see Matt being cut, basically stabbed so many times he's looking like a human pincushion. Keep hearing Karen tell Foggy to stay in there, but the heartbeat seems to be going and going until finally Foggy dies. And Matt, hearing Foggy take his last heartbeat, snaps and winds up throwing Bullseye off the roof of where they were fighting, becoming basically what Punisher said he would become, like becoming a Punisher type of character himself for a moment and snapping and taking a man's life, or at least thinking that that's what he was doing by throwing him over the roof. Unfortunately, Bullseye does survive and winds up being sentenced for his actions at Josie's bar that day. We also see Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, attempting to become the mayor of New York City, and during some of his speeches throughout the two episodes, you hear him talk about vigilanteism and how that needs to stop. You hear him reference the Punisher. You hear him reference Spider-Man for the first time from this character, and people running around with horns on their head, referencing Matt, of course, as Daredevil. Um, we also get a conversation between Matt and Wilson at a diner, basically kind of catching up on what they were doing, letting each other know they've been keeping up with each other's lives. And Matt has even made reference how Wilson seems to be lighter on his feet and has even gained muscle, meaning that Kingpin has not only become uh, more of a threat, but enough for Matt to have to say something about it and be curious about that, you know? So when you know that eventually these two are going to face off. And like I said, Wilson winds up winning the mayor's office, and the police commissioner and some of the police department don't like it. There seems to be this Punisher inspired group within the cops, and we first see that tattoo that they wear on their bodies through a cop that Matt was fighting near the end of episode 2. We also get the introduction of the White Tiger into the Daredevil series and in the MCU, greater MCU. He was trying to stop what he thought was a mugging, which was really two cops roughing up somebody. The guy they were roughing up took off, and Hector Leah, the White Tiger, wound up accidentally killing one of the cops and wound up going on trial for said crime, which Matt decided to take his case. How that happened was Matt was at the police station and hearing him getting tuned up by those cops and decided to take the case because he knew and wind up finding out that he's the White Tiger, knowing how it is to be someone who's trying to help. It seems like the White Tiger gets his powers through this magical amulet, which I'm sure we will learn later on. Like what type of powers and stuff are involved with that. I should also mention at this period in the timeline, the night that Foggy died, there was a time jump of a year that we're in now, and Matt had given up being Daredevil. One of the cops that night at Josie's by the name of Cherry, wound up finding out that Matt was Daredevil and wound up helping him by becoming a PI for Matt as Matt reopened a new law firm with a new partner. We also see Matt possibly have a new love interest who is a psychologist and renowned author in the psychology world. And this is going to be very interesting because we also see her becoming the marriage counselor for Wilson Fisk and Vanessa. So I wonder what's going to happen when those two worlds collide in front of her, and see how she reacts to finding out that Matt is Daredevil, because I'm sure that will eventually happen. We also see real quick with Matt's new love interest, this psychologist. She was at a book signing, and we see the first appearance by the man who's going to be known as Muse, and he's going to be I believe, bigger villain by the end of this particular season. And he had asked her to help him because he has some problems that he feels like only she can help with. So again, all corners of Matt's life is going to be getting tightened because of these interactions, not only that he has as Matt, but also as Daredevil, and eventually putting on the Daredevil garb once again, thus becoming Reborn. Um, I will say that the fight scenes, as always, are pretty decent. Um, that like that initial fight between him and Bullseye in the beginning of episode 1 was really pretty good. I wish it could last as long as I would like for it to, but however, we need to also have some exposition, if you will. Karen doesn't seem to be too happy with Matt giving up Daredevil, being Daredevil. She feels like he should have done something about Foggy's death, but you know, Matt is one that's always trying to not kill, even though he has in the past. He doesn't necessarily have a no kill rule, but it's something that he tries to, keep from doing. It's a few and far between when he feels like he actually has to feel like that's the real punishment that has to happen. Um, I think it's gonna. Oh, Vanessa, Wilson's wife, is kind of running the organization at the moment, but we also see some dissension with the other families. At least this one family in particular, there's some dissension there. So we're gonna see how that winds up playing out. Kingpin really is trying to play the straight and narrow as much as he can for right now because he wants to stay clean, to try to really do this job as mayor as well as he thinks he can. I'm definitely going to expect to see some Devil's Reign brushstrokes in this series. That was a recent story where Kingpin did become mayor of New York and outlawed vigilantism. So we're going to see something similar in this series from him. And I'm kind of curious on how that's going to wind up happening and coming out. I'm curious on when Punisher's going to show up. And it would be kind of cool to see Spider-Man show up, but I don't really think that would be necessarily involved in this season, maybe season 2. No reference to any of the Defenders stuff from previous years. No reference of Luke Cage or Danny Rand or Jessica Jones. But I'm sure that will eventually be caught up with in time too. That's if I'm gonna give these first 2 episodes a score. I'm definitely going to give the combined 2 episodes a 7.5 out of 10. It gave us a good start. It's going to lead us to new characters, how old characters interact with each other, and where the MCU brings Daredevil and all the street level heroes from here on out. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm hoping that Marvel can get back to the excitement that everyone once had for these projects. And it's unfortunate that there's not as much excitement for this show. Maybe, I don't know, because of all the duds that came before. But I feel like maybe Daredevil can really help change the position of a few people and bring some fans back to the shows and keep having high quality shows be put out that actually mean something and have consequences. But that's my thoughts on Daredevil episodes 1 and 2. If I missed anything that you'd like to talk about, let me know down below. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, share. The march to 500 subscribers continues. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and staying tuned. And until next time, peace, Nookums.